My Monarch Butterfly Service project was website development. The purpose of this project was to gather information related to the Monarch Butterfly Service projects, including community partners, service sites, current and past projects, and information and links related to monarch butterflies, and compile them into a website. This project is focused on our community partner, the Monarch Butterfly community members. This is an example of what our project description looked like on eCampus for website development. As you can see, the dates and times of the project were flexible, there was no dress code, and we kind of got to work at our own locations and times as we saw fit. The short-term goal was to create goals and a plan for how to gather information and what information we deem most important for the purposes of our website, and divide up tasks to ensure that the project gets completed on time. Our medium-term goal was to gather information and media pertaining to monarch butterflies in general, the other monarch butterfly service projects, and any other information that would be useful for educational purposes. Our long-term goal was to publish and update the website to inform people throughout our community and other communities about the importance and significant roles of monarch butterflies. For project planning, we initially came up with a very vague plan on how we planned to complete our project. This was intentional so that each member would have the creative freedom to edit and add to the website as they see fit. We basically decided that once we got more specific instructions, we would each pick a specific task or set of tasks to complete. We planned to communicate through GroupMe to ensure everyone had the opportunity to give feedback. We also discussed using a Trello board for collaboration. We created a communication plan in which we all agreed to communicate frequently about the project, and we created specific deadlines for when we must all contribute. We also created a Google Doc for any infractions necessary if any group members were not contributing. So this is what our accountability plan looked like. We decided to set realistic and achievable goals for each week as to what we decided needed to be accomplished or worked on via Google Calendar. As a group, we decided to have weekly updates or checkpoints in GroupMe. This was just all to make sure that we stayed on track. And then we also decided to create a Google Doc for any infractions where we would make note if anything were to occur. And then this was our communication plan, where we decided that we would work mostly via GroupMe, but also email or Trello, and then of course Google Docs. We decided that the frequency of communication would just be as needed, but always at least 2 days before deadlines. Our accountability measures were to first start with GroupMe, then direct message through GroupMe, then email, and then if needed, we could contact the professor or TAs. And then we did agree all on a spokesperson who was our primary contact between Dr. Coates and also the IT department for the entomology unit. So my specific plan was to take my portion of tasks once we had more specifics and complete them in a timely fashion. I intended to help keep my group accountable for upcoming deadlines and use my time management skills to help create realistic goals for our project. I also wanted to focus more on the writing side of things because I felt that I had better writing skills than creativity. This is what I wrote in our Google Doc initially about what I planned for myself. So I just said that after we have determined what all tasks need to be complete and figure out the specifics of the website, I will take my portion of the tasks and complete them in a timely fashion. I will use my skills to help make sure that the project gets completed on time. I prefer writing the most, so I will try to help with more of the writing side of things. So moving forward into project execution, we didn't really receive any more specific instructions like we initially planned, so we ended up keeping our tasks very general. Rather than each of us getting assigned a specific part of the website, we all added information and media that we found for any of the topics. We never actually had to give any infractions because we all contributed and added to the website, and then we did end up following our communication plan, which proved to be very effective for our purposes. So some of our variations in execution is that we ended up not using a Trello board because we found that GroupMe was the most efficient and effective for communication purposes, and then we liked Google Docs the best for sharing information and resources. We also didn't give specific tasks to each individual group member since the focus of the project was left so open-ended. We just felt that it would be better and easier to all add any information that we found, since we were kind of just looking for general information regarding monarch butterflies. And then we did have a system in place in the event that there were any missed deadlines or lack of contribution by any group members, which would result in infractions, but we ended up not having to give any. We also didn't have to contact the professor or TA because of anybody not communicating through GroupMe. So our project results in impact. We did complete our website given the information that we were able to obtain. Our website will be impactful to our community as well as people all over because it provides useful information about monarch butterflies and their migration patterns, as well as how to get involved in the effort to help save the monarchs. So this is the link to our website, and we'll now take a look at it. So we'll begin at the home page, where this is just a general overview of what our group did for the project. So then you could click on our team, and this was just where everyone had the opportunity to add some information about themselves. I am recording this a little bit earlier, so not everybody has completed theirs, but we all just got to give a little bit of information about ourselves and who we are. Then we have a current monarch service projects tab. So this is where we talked about all of the service projects that the rest of our class is working on. We just added some general information as well as some of the specific things that we learned about each. And then we included any information and media that we found or were provided with. So this was also, we found a video to a news anchor in the Bryan College Station area who actually gave an entire segment that was just about the monarch service projects that we have and how A&M is helping the monarchs. So that was a really cool thing to see. So moving forward, we did monarchs in the media. So this was just some links to different articles or videos that were about just like current information regarding monarchs. There were different news sites as well as blogs and things of that nature that just talked about anything relevant today with monarch butterflies, and we tried to make that something that was a little bit more specific to our area, but this is just a general idea of monarchs. And then this is just our media gallery, so this is where we included a lot of different photos, whether it be of butterflies themselves or of different organizations and groups in the monarch butterfly field. And then we also did educator resources. So this section was mainly intended for the purpose of other educators like school teachers or things like that. So these are some free and reliable sources that educators could use to teach about different aspects of monarchs. So we had some sources such as the USDA, other schools, and even our own AgriLife Extension. So these would be great for teachers to use if they are interested in teaching their students about monarchs. And then we have a section that's all about service projects within Bryan College Station or just any type of movements within our area outside of our class's current monarch service projects. So these are things like the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, Monarch March, things of that sort. And then we also have just some more educational and support efforts in the Bryan College Station area. So these are things like fundraising or just some educational opportunities. The butterfly gardening link, for example, takes you to a website that teaches you all about how to begin and maintain a butterfly garden to help monarchs in their migration routes and knowing where to go. So these are just some interesting resources that could be helpful. And then we also have service opportunities and Texas butterfly exhibits that are outside of the Bryan College Station area. And then we finish off this page with just a picture of a monarch. And then from there, we have just some general all about monarchs information. This is just about their life cycle, population, location, diet, etc. So this is just more about like monarchs themselves. And then we have a whole section on how to make your backyard pollinator friendly for bugs such as monarchs. And then also some more links and articles to why monarchs are essential. So this is just, this was the basics of our website. We decided that it would be useful for people to get to see all about the monarchs from our perspective. So now going back to our PowerPoint, our media content, as you saw, was just an original creation made by the efforts of all of our group members. The pictures were pulled from other sources since our objective was to compile information from outside sources. So with that being said, it would have been impossible for all of our media to be completely original since we were working at different times and locations, and we had to collect information and combine it all together rather than going out into the community and getting it ourselves. So we did use reliable sources from the internet or other groups to show different projects and information available within the community. So for future projects, I would suggest that other groups try to play with the layout a little bit more. This was one of our biggest challenges, so maybe someone in the future could figure it out better. We had a hard time figuring out different tabs and things like that, that essentially in our time frame we weren't able to work out. I would also suggest trying to obtain a master list of all the projects at the beginning of all of the Monarch Butterfly projects, because it was hard for a group to find out all of the different projects and goals of each one once the sign up was closed. And then I think it would also be interesting to see if a shared Google Doc among all of the groups could be created so that future groups could have more original and shared pictures from other groups rather than just internet sources.